Today's video, we're going to talk about some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes for 2019. Everything from affordable to high-end, all of that, and giving you guys like a little mini review on each palette as well, I guess you could say. Anyways, guys, if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name's Rhonda, better known as Hotmess Mama MD, and in here, we embrace the hot mess. We run on pretty much nothing but caffeine, and it's a judgment-free zone where we sit back, relax, and just chit-chat about makeup because honestly, at the end of the day, guess what? It washes off. It's not that serious. It's just fun. So hopefully this is a channel for you and you decide to stick around and hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on because I upload all the time at 12:15 Eastern Standard Time, and I'd love to have you as part of the family. I also have a second channel, Hotmess Mama Vlogs, where I talk about keto, randomness. You honestly never know what you're going to get over there. So love to have you over there as well. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into some of my favorites. Okay guys, so like I said, this is some of my favorites for 2019. I actually did this exact same video last year and I found it to be really fun. I don't think any of them are repeats. I tried to keep it completely different than when I did my favorites for 2018. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't have this organized. I probably should have, but whatever. So let's talk about an affordable palette. This is the Bubble Nebula Changeable Palette by YOUCAN. Now, I have a few of the YOUCAN palettes, but out of all of them, and this was my favorite. This was actually a dupe for the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. I did a whole is it a dupe or just a waste of money on this palette, and I loved the way it performed, and I've been back in it since. And I love the color scheme when I purchased the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. I told you all that. I thought it was different, and I mean, it wasn't anything like, oh, but it was something different for the time when it released. So I was really happy to find it in an affordable version. By the way, I will try and link and list everything down below for you guys in my description box that I'm talking about, including this palette. They will be magic links or affiliate links. So just know that if you do purchase any of the palettes using either my code or my link, that will earn me a little bit of a commission. So thank you in advance for that. That helps put money back into the channel so I can provide more content for you guys. So here's an up close of the palette. If you were interested in picking up the Mercury Retrograde palette, however it was a little too much, this would be a really good affordable option for you guys. So moving right along, because I don't want to make this video too crazy long, the next was the brand Delancey. Now, I had never heard or tried Delancey out before, and I actually, again, I'm pretty sure every palette that I'm talking about got its own dedicated video or was part of Is It a Dupe or Just a Waste of Money. These are no different. Delancey eyeshadow palettes, their formula is amazing. They are affordable. They're easy to work with. They're easy to use. This is the Avocado Green palette. This is what it looks like. It's a little scary, and I say that every single time that I show you guys this palette, but I'm telling you, there is a way to incorporate these shades without being too like, what is going on? You know, if you are like me and you prefer more of that neutral, natural kind of look, there's literally ways to incorporate these greens and just use them as a really beautiful pop of color. Like I said, I did a dedicated video doing just that with these shades, and they are just such beautiful, creamy, vibrant colors that are just, and even their shimmers, you guys, their shimmers are beautiful, like beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So anyways, really happy with that. This was actually sent to me by Corey. I talk about it all the time. And then, hold on, I need a wash rag to clean my finger off. And then Delancey actually sent this one to me. This is the Maelstrom, I think is how you say it, palette. And again, I did a whole dedicated video and look with this palette. Again, beautiful array of colors and just the formula. The formula is gorgeous. What I love about their, oh, see how pigmented that is? I barely touched that. But what I love about their glitter shades is, look at this. You don't have to dab, dab, dab. You can just go whoop, and you get it and it's not stuck on your finger. So I love that about them, and there's no coconut in here, so you're not gonna have to worry about that. But again, crazy affordable palette and wonderful formula. Longevity is there with everything that I'm talking about. You just can't go wrong, and like I said, everything will be linked and listed down below for you guys. Okay, moving into a couple more affordable palettes. Again, I mean, okay, it's just annoying if I keep repeating myself, but that's what I do. So the Cherry palette by CCOLOR Cosmetics. It still has a nice cherry scent to it. You guys, if you wanted the high-end Urban Decay, which I do enjoy the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette, this is really affordable. And I do have a coupon code for this. Hotmess10 does save you 10%. You can use that repeatedly. That is an affiliate code, just letting you guys know. But I mean, the formula, the quality, everything, insanely affordable and wonderful to add to your collection. And I'm cruelty free, by the way. So anyways, I'm trying to stick with affordable and then moving in. Okay, more CCOLOR Cosmetics. Let's start with the FAIRYTALE palette. Now this was actually a dupe for the Clover palette by Too Faced, which I wanted that one. I want to say it was a Too Faced had the Clover palette as limited edition, and I wanted that so bad. Fortunately, Hailey picked it up, so I did do Is It a Dupe or Just a Waste of Money with this. This palette by CCOLOR Cosmetics, the FAIRYTALE palette, like I said, is a complete dupe. And it's amazing. It outlasted the Too Faced palette. Now you guys know I'm not the best at applying primer. I typically only have my Tatcha Pearl and Moonlight on my eyes, and then I just set it with powder or a nude base or creamy beige eyeshadow shade on my lid. Wow, that was a lot, girl. And just go right in with my color. And we had gone to Kings Island. We were there for hours and hours. It was like flipping probably 90 some degrees that day, sweaty, hot, sticky. Came home, I did it end of the day check-in for y'all, and boom, the CCOLOR Cosmetics palette outlasted the Too Faced Clover palette. It was insane. And again, Hotmess10 saves you 10%. All these palettes that I'm talking about, but again, so rich, pigmented, and creamy, whether it was the matte or the shimmer shades, just amazing quality. And again, if you guys have CCOLOR Cosmetics palettes, definitely leave your testimony on any of these palettes down below. I always love hearing from you guys. And I have to say, a lot of you guys have said you've now started to see them at Marshall's and TJ Maxx. So if you can save money, do it, friends, do it. Like, who doesn't want to save money? Then they came out with the FAIRYTALE 2 palette, which is actually a dupe for the Gingerbread Spice palette, which again, I felt like was a really pretty palette, but I didn't want to spend the 40-some dollars. So again, I was fortunate enough that Hailey had picked it up and I was able to do Is It a Dupe or Just a Waste of Money? And again, great consistency, performed beautifully, longevity is definitely there, and the affordability, it's insane, it's amazing, you're gonna love it. So that was definitely a really good palette. Let me see here. I got a couple more for affordability. I don't think this is surprising to you guys to see this in my collection. This is a CCOLOR Cosmetics Soft Natural palette. You guys know these two shades up here. I should have done close-ups of the other palettes. Sorry guys, I'll do that in a second. These two shades up here are always my go-to types of shades. This all over my lid, this eyebrow highlight and inner corner highlight, and the rest is you don't really need to think on how you're going to do an eye look. You just slap it on and it looks fabulous. So as far as these palettes close up, here is the Cherry palette, and again, darn near spot on dupe for the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. The FAIRYTALE 2 palette, which I said is the Gingerbread Spice dupe. This is what it looks like up close. These do come with mirrors, and the Cherry palette actually comes with a double-ended brush, but I always take it out because I'm stuck in my ways and I use my brushes. And this is the dupe by CCOLOR Cosmetics FAIRYTALE for the Clover palette. So that's what they look like up close. Okay, oh, this I think was the first palette of 2019 that I hit pan on, and that's the CCOLOR Cosmetics Frost palette. This is actually a dupe for the Kylie Cosmetics, is it the Naughty palette or Nice? I can't, I don't remember, but this is the one that I hit pan on. It's not like a huge pan, but I hit pan on it and I was like, oh, I don't ever do that. You guys know eyeshadow palettes are my jam. I am a hoarder. I love eyeshadow palettes, and this, I had to take this palette away from myself. I don't remember if it came out in 2018 or the beginning of 2019, but this was definitely one that I found myself gravitating to a lot. It's neutral, it's, you know, you can do those pops, but you can come up with really pretty easy, simple looks where you don't have to think, you just slap it on and it makes your life really easy. Okay, the last one that I'm going to talk about as far as it goes for CCOLOR Cosmetics is the Savannah palette. Now back in, I think it was 2018, Natasha Denona released the Safari palette, and I love that palette. I know some people had a lot of issues with the top row in the Natasha Denona palette. I didn't have an issue with any of the shades, but it's a $129 palette. So when CCOLOR Cosmetics came out with this palette, which is like insanely inexpensive, I was super excited to be able to play with it more and more and more. I mean, look at the love that this palette has gotten. Do you guys see that? You guys know I'm pretty messy, and when I love a palette, I love a palette. I actually have some of the shades on my eyes today from this palette, but consistency is there. It's great, it's easy, it's an all matte palette just like the Natasha Denona palette, and again, stupid crazy affordable. Okay, so moving on to, we're going to talk a little bit more about some high-end stuff and incorporating it with some affordable. So like I said, Natasha Denona's palettes are $129, and when she came out with the Biba palette, this was perfect for me. It was one of those palettes that I love the color scheme with it because at the time that this released, I worked in the corporate world. You had to keep it pretty on the DL. You couldn't be like, whoa, look at my eyeballs, you know. You had to be very like subdued, you know. So this palette was perfect for me. I traveled around with it, and it was just an easy, simple go-to, no stress type of thing. However, $129. Luckily, Alter Ego came out with the Sahara palette, which I have in its little box as well. And again, crazy affordable, and it feels very luxurious, guys. It's like that matte type of cardboard packaging, but look at it. Beautiful. It's a dupe. Is it a dupe or just a waste of money? Did that whole video, and it's great quality, perfect formula, longevity, quality, everything. Boom, Alter Ego. And I do have a coupon code for them as well, Hotmess. That'll save you 10%. And again, that's another coupon that you can use over and over and over. It is an affiliate code just like the CCOLOR Cosmetics, so definitely letting you guys know about that. But thank you in advance if you use it. I know a lot of you guys repeatedly use my coupons. I mean, they have like just such creamy, beautiful, beautiful formula. I mean, you can't beat it, guys. You can't beat it. And I'm going to be doing another video later talking about like my spending and everything and my do's and don'ts for 2020. And affordable for me, that's where it's at, friends. That is where it's at. So Alter Ego, you can't, again, that like CCOLOR Cosmetics, you can't go wrong. Delancey, you can't go wrong with this formula. They're great formula. Longevity is definitely there, and I think you're going to be really, really happy with this formula. Moving right along, this I don't even think I did a dedicated video for this, but I used this palette way more than I expected to use this palette, and that is the Huda Beauty Nude Light palette. This is what it looks like up close. It is just a absolutely beautiful palette. Can you focus? I don't think this is focusing well and giving you guys like the true, there we go, the true shades. I'm really, really hoping I want to say this was like $29. It may be on sale less than that, but I'm really hoping CCOLOR Cosmetics dupes it, because they did dupe a lot of the 9-pan palettes from Huda Beauty, and they're like insanely affordable and amazing. And I have to say, this is another one of those palettes where you don't have to think too hard. You just slap on 1 or 2 shades out of this palette and you're done, you know? And it's actually it's a really good palette. I am really happy to have this in my collection. But again, if I can find it more affordable, I definitely want to do that. By the way, I know I spoke about the You Can Be Bubble Nebula palettes, because like I said when I was talking about this one, I love the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette, but I didn't pull it because I had the dupe for it, but I did love the Mercury Retrograde palette. So anywho, now this was one that was actually sent to me from KEVYN and Octoly, and I love this palette. If you guys can find this on sale, get it. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. It says Emphasize Eye Design Palette, and this is in the shades Magnify, or the palette Magnify. It came with a little like cream type of topper. This is so pretty. I mean, if you want to build up and do like this sexy smoldering smoky eye, this is your palette. This is your palette. It is just beautiful, and I feel bougie with it, but whatever. Anyhow, this was one that we did get in our Boxycharm. Was it in November? The Celestial Thunder palette. I actually did a dedicated video for this palette. This is by Dominique Cosmetics. I love Dominique Cosmetics formula. I have a few of her palettes, and they're just really good palettes, and super excited to get these in Boxycharm. Ooh, I'm all about that shimmer, guys. But isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I just think it's a beautiful palette. So excited to have that in Boxycharm. Now, this was my first 5-pan mini palette that I picked up from Natasha Denona, and I know that her mini palettes get a lot of hit or misses on the reviews for them, but I have to say the Natasha Denona mini gold palette, loved it. Absolutely loved it. I thought, you know, from the get-go it was very, very simple, easy to use. Formulation was great, no issues whatsoever. It is a really pretty palette. I definitely feel like I had a thing for greens in 2019. So I feel like this next one I talked about from Boxycharm, the Storybook Cosmetics palette, I geeked out on that because, again, I was all about those green shades. I mean, this is just such a beautiful, fun palette. And I told you guys when I reviewed this palette, it reminded me a lot of the mini gold palette. I have the Natasha Denona gold palette, and I love this palette. I love this palette so much. Fortunately, CCOLOR Cosmetics duped it, and Alter Ego duped it, so I will leave those linked down below for you guys. This is a gorgeous palette. And I will tell you guys, then the Metropolis palette came out. No. You don't need that Metropolis palette. You don't really need this gold palette. Just stick with this and get an Alter Ego or CCOLOR Cosmetics dupe palette. I mean, you know, just keeping it real with you guys. Anyways, the Storybook Cosmetics palette, I had never tried Storybook Cosmetics formula before, and I love it. It is a very easy to work with, user-friendly type of formula that it builds up well, blends out easily, and I'm just a makeup enthusiast, not an artist, so my techniques are not down. I'm still a work in progress, guys, and I loved playing with this formula. Speaking of Storybook Cosmetics, again, in December, we received this in our Boxycharm, and oh my gosh, I created a look using this palette. I've come back several times playing around with this. I mean, look at this beautiful coral. Oof, it is just so pretty. In the summertime, can you imagine? I mean, it's pretty now, but it's like this matte coral with like this shimmer gold to it. It's just so beautiful. So anyways, very excited with that. Okay, so I did again try some new formulas in 2019, one being Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Starry Eyes to Hypnotize palette. Now, the reason I picked this one up is because, as you'll see, there's 4 different sets, and there's, you know, it's a trio, 4 different trios in here, and I felt like out of all of the palettes that she has, the reason I really liked it so much and decided to go ahead and spend the money on it is because it does, like I said, had the 4 different trios in here, and I felt like it gave me the opportunity to test out the Charlotte Tilbury formula, but also have a variety of shades in here. She has since come out with like a mini size palette where I feel like all the shades are very almost monotoned, is that the right word? I'm not for sure. And then she came out with a larger one where it's a lot of these shades, very similar to what you would find in like the Naked Cherry palette, and I'm like, not so much. So I was really happy to be able to get my hands on this one. I really do like the Charlotte Tilbury formula, at least what I've tried in here. Very, very happy with it. Easy to work with, easy to blend with. I would love to see like CCOLOR Cosmetics, Alter Ego, You Can Be, Delancey, somebody, ColourPop, dupe it, please. It would be amazing. Jumping back to some affordable palettes, ColourPop. You guys know for years I've talked about how much I love ColourPop. I think that their formula is absolutely amazing. Again, very insanely affordable. A lot of the times they will create palettes that are very similar to high-end palettes. So again, love that to save money. One that, since I started shopping my stash, going back through my collection, I went back to the You Had Me at Hello, which honestly I don't know. This may have been like retired, but I'm sure that I know that there's similar palettes out there by ColourPop, and I love this. I've been really into the berry shades, the burgundy shades here lately, and you just can't go wrong with a ColourPop palette. Speaking of which, here's another one I wanted to talk about by ColourPop, because I was able to pick this up, I want to say for like $12 with Ipsy. This is the Through My Eyes I Love Sarah Heed times ColourPop collection. And again, I'm sorry this may be sold out, but it's a palette that I absolutely loved, and I was so excited when I added this to my collection. And this shade, I don't know, Lomo? Kind of similar to the Storybook, doesn't have the pretty sparkles in it, but again, just really pretty shades in here, like this emerald shade. Oh, it's so pretty. And that's been the funnest part of shopping my stash and my collection is, like I said, I love eyeshadow palettes. Like, I love eyeshadow palettes, and I got into such a buying fury the beginning of like 2018 and part of 2019. I started to slow it down, but I was like, sis, come on now, you know, you've added so many. Like, love what you have, play with what you have. And I always go back to a ColourPop palette. You just can't go wrong with ColourPop. This is one that I don't think you guys are going to be surprised about, because I did like 5 looks, 1 palette, and this was the palette that I told you all really started to bring me out of my comfort zone and my shell of only doing neutral basic colors and doing the pops of colors and being comfortable in those pops of colors. And that is the Conspiracy palette by Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. This is what the palette looks like. I don't know if it's back available or not. You guys know I went through hell and high water to get this palette, and I have to say, it's a nice palette. It's a fun palette, and I love the formula. The formula, I feel like, is just so easy. It reminds me of like, almost like how in Natasha Denona, you just apply it and all of a sudden like you're blending and it's just like, poof, beautiful. That's what I feel like. I just feel like I am like an artiste with this formula. Okay, I have like 2 more, I think, palettes to talk about, and this is the Pat McGrath Mothership something palette, V1. Just keep it real with you guys. Welcome to the Hotmess Express. Hope you subscribe. This palette right here. Now, I struggled, guys. I really struggled with this palette, and I'll tell you why. It was the first palette, I want to say, yeah, I think it was like the first palette I purchased after I had lost my job. Fortunately, I'd been saving some because, as you guys know, I have a Patreon page, and I use our Patreon donations to put right back into this channel. And I had saved some of that, but I had saved enough to be able to purchase this, and dang gone did this girl get some hate. Holy those guys, I got some serious hate for buying this palette, which is, I thought was really sad, because they were like, you just lost your job, you are broke, I can't believe you bought that. And I was like, first of all, you don't pay my bills, you can't tell me what to do, you're not my mom, you know, like, dang, simmer down, sis. The nice thing I will say with Pat McGrath is she does have Afterpay, so you don't have to like hand over $125 right away. So I did do the flex plan or whatever that's called, and I made like 3 different payments with it. But I really struggled to tell you guys that it was worth that $125. Is the Pat McGrath formula beautiful? Yes. Is it extravagant, luxurious, and bougie as sin? Yes. Am I sad that I bought it? No. I do love this palette, but I'm noticing that maybe it's the older I get, or the more I shop my stash, the more I'm like, do we really need to add expensive things to our collection? And I told you guys that I really have adapted to telling myself, companies are not just going to get my money. I'm done with the FOMO. They need to earn my money, you know? And that is, you guys will see another video coming back of that. I'm talking about things where I'm like kicking myself for buying, and you'll hear me talk about that in that video. And anyways, not to like tangent on, so I digress there, but I did love this palette, and I do absolutely love this other palette by Pat McGrath, and this one is, I forget what it's called. I keep everything out of the box, but it's this one. You guys know when this one was releasing, I was like, oh, I love it. It's so pretty. I need it. There must be something about these blue shades that just get me 10 times as excited. I love the looks that I create with this, and it's a beautiful palette, and I'm so happy I added this to my collection. So those are some of my favorites from 2019, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a longer video. I tried to get through it as fast as I could. So anyways, guys, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please help me out by giving your girl a big thumbs up. It's a new year and it's a real me. So there's going to be all kinds of sass this year, guys. So I hope you guys decide to stick around and subscribe before you go. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And until next time, friends, as always, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, and blessed day. Kisses from Kentucky. Mwah. Bye.